technical business meeting of Awka Owerri chapter. Thank you so much. All right, Tunde, please, can you shoot it? Can you make it full? Is it possible? Okay. Okay, thank you so much. So welcome to NAPE Continue. Welcome to 2025 August Technical Business Meeting of Awka Owerri chapter. And we believe that it will be a full technical business meeting where we shall learn from one of our own that we know that he has been in the industry for so many years. So we would like to bridge both the industry experience and the university experience to make it work. So Awka Owerri chapter, on behalf of the president and all the ESCOs, are saying welcome to all our attendees. Thank you so much for coming. So without wasting our time, let's move straight to the next slide. Tunde, please. So in our next slide, let's start with the opening prayer by Dr. Rita Orajoka. He's the Awka Owerri chapter Assistant General Secretary. Rita.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for a beautiful day like this. Thank you for the gift of life, for good health. Thank you for our families, friends, businesses, and for providence. We ask for your wisdom during this technical discussion. Grant us clarity of thought and speech so we can learn, make better decisions, and positive impact in the industry and to our dear nation. For in your mighty name we have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rita. We pray that our Lord will be with us all through. So without wasting our time, the next point on call is our safety briefing by Mr. Haneku Chebozo. And I think that he has a minor issue with his login. So let me just stand in for him without wasting time. So in our safety briefing this time around, all we are saying that let's just please pay attention to what we have on ground, that we have no time to waste. This is going to be a short presentation. It will be a short meeting. In less than 2 hours, we should all be done. So all we are praying is that let us sit upright, try to stay away from where there's noise, then make sure that you sit comfortably and listen to what you have. And we pray that at the end of the day, everything will be fruitful. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much. So without wasting our time, Tunde, please, next slide. Let's go straight to the welcome address by the NAPE Awka Owerri chapter. So having said that, I'm welcoming everyone on call to this August technical business meeting, which will be, yeah, Tunde, thank you. Please, next slide, Tunde, please. Can you share the next slide? Next slide. Okay. Tunde, next slide, please. Tunde, can you hear me, please? Confirm if you can hear me, please. Tunde. Hello, Tunde, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, please move on to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, next slide. Next slide. So we welcome everyone to this August technical meeting. The entire ESCO of Awka Owerri chapter welcome every one of us, from the coordinator, Dr. Ifeanyi Chungo, then to the deputy coordinator, Dr. Choma Madewesi. Then we have our secretary also on call, Dr. Sebanus Ibeneme. Then we have our great assistant general secretary, Dr. Rita Orejoka. Then Mr. Chibozo, who is the publicity secretary. Then we have one of our elders, Professor Bat Uzumba, as our advisory council. Then Professor Leonard Onumba, the technical director. Dr. Austin is the FinSec. Dr. Austin is the FinSec. Then Dr. Chema Kevin is the treasurer. Then is the financial secretary. Sorry. Then we have George Okeke, the YP lead, and we have our just immediate past coordinator, the great man indeed, Dr. Preston Dim. Thank you for being on the call. Then we have Dr. Adobe, the immediate past coordinator. Next slide, please. Hello, please. To the next slide. Okay, thank you. We have the Awka Owerri chapter has several occasions before now, starts from January, where we went to a Thanksgiving service to thank God for what we have achieved so far and for a successful tenure of the immediate past ESCOs. So we thank God for that. Then the next one that we also have that this after this event, the next thing we have was the election proper for the new ESCO that is on board, where the aforementioned ESCOs were elected. We are elected and presented by the NAPE president, who was on call on that day, and some other ESCO members that were around within the southeastern part of Nigeria. So we thank everyone on call. Then the next slide, please. Tunde, please, can we be fast? Sorry. This network is having an issue. Next slide, please. Okay, then we have some of our activities that we have already on the Awka Owerri chapter. We have our student chapters, the UNN chapter, Nnamdi chapter that have hosted a lot of activities. And some of these activities are just shown here, as you have in the slide you have here. This is one of the activities that was hosted at UNIZIC. Then the NAPE president was around. It was just a home call for all the alumni that graduated from the Nnamdi University Awka, and the president, being one of us, was present, and we really have him available. And the vice chancellor also welcomed him. He paid a course visit to the vice chancellor, and with the students, and the experience is nothing to write home about. We thank Mr. President for that wonderful visit. Next slide, please. To the next slide, please. Okay, then we also have some of our own that were given a lot of things that we have available in the just concluded. Tunde, please. Okay, let me continue from here. So within this year, we have had three concluded TBM already, where we have the first presentation was by Tunde. What is happening?
Can you see it?
We have Yes, I can, but we are fast. I don't know what is happening. There's no communication. Okay, thank you. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. So we have previous years we have had our technical business meeting. So, but this year alone, we have successfully held 3 TBM already, and we have concluded that by where we have Ebere Orebunam, who was available, that did the first one, then followed by Dr. Obinna Chode, and the third was by Professor Izuchu Obiadi, which was the physical technical business meeting that was held in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, and the attendance was massive, over 200 participants were on call. We are really grateful to all our attendees in our previous TBM meeting. Next slide, please. Okay, then today we'll be having this particular business meeting today, which will be our guest speaker will be Dr. Bernard, who is the chief production seismologist slash geophysicist in Seplat Energy, Nigeria. So, and he'll be taking on this topic, theoretical foundation of deep learning, logic and basic seismic signal for stratigraphic analysis and reservoir characterization. So this is the topic that he'll be handling today, and I know he will do justice to it. All we need to do, let's just key in and just have a last mind and listen to what he has for us, and will not regret joining the call. Next slide. My chairman, sir. Mr. President.
Okay, confirm you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Owerri chapter coordinator and your entire executive committee members. So apologies, I joined a bit late. I had some other commitments earlier at 11 o'clock, but I had to excuse to join this very one. So let me say a big thank you to yourself and the ESCO for what you continue to do. This is, I believe, your technical and business monthly meeting following the face-to-face or hybrid session you had the last time while you were in Ebonyi State. So again, it shows that this is working. Sometimes we have to do, fully virtual. Sometimes we have to do hybrid, and it's good to see you leveraging this opportunity and the platform that we have in NAPE. Let me also say a big thank you to your executive committee members, including your advisory council member rep and the other senior leaders you have in the chapter for the belief and commitment they've always had. If I go through the call, I see a lot of our professors and senior elders joining this call, and is the belief in the fact that we will continue to come together to use this platform to share our ideas and continue to learn and grow and improve from what we have. All I can tell you is that be rest assured that from the national level executive committee, we'll continue to give the chapter, the maximum support you need to succeed. Because as you know, this is the avenue and the platform through which we recruit members to NAPE. And we have been doing that, pretty quite well. I mean, if I look at the list of the new members that have registered in the last few months, it's been, moving on the good side. And again, credit to all of yourself, not just you for Awka chapter, but other chapter coordinators helping us to grow the membership. And then, of course, secondly, clearly is around, sharing, having the knowledge platform to share and learn. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. And I'm happy to see that we have our own Dr. Ebere, who have consistently supported most of our activities, not just for Awka chapter only, but many others. So I just want to say thank you, Dr. Bernard. And all I can tell you on the call is to relax and and get the best moment of this session that we have. I see also the president-elect is also on the call. I'm sure she's going to speak at some point, and I believe there will be some other ESCOs I haven't gone through on the call, but we will continue to support what you're doing here in Awka chapter as we keep improving from day to day. So with that, I will yield the floor back to you, the chapter coordinator.
Thank you, my P. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the admonition. Please, to the next slide, please. Okay, Mr. President, I don't know. I think you should continue to do justice to our chairman for the day, Professor Samuel Okechukwu Onyekuru. Following this is just his citation before we move straight to the guest speaker. Thank you, sir.
Very happy to do that, and even more excited to do the honors to introduce the chairman, Professor Samuel Onyekuru, who also was a solid supporter of when the chapter was being established. And to read the citation, which is very brief because it's a bit longer than this, for us to know who is going to chair the session today. Professor Samuel Onyekuru holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Geosciences, and he was actually the best graduating student during his own when he graduated in 1990-91 session in the erstwhile Anambra State University of Technology, which we now know today as Nnamdi Azikiwe University, aka UNIZIK. During the National Youth Service program in 1992, Professor Onyekuru again was awarded with the NYSC Honors Award based on what he delivered at that particular year. And then he joined the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, in 2002. He has, of course, worked in a series of departments and have risen to the position of project manager as well. Within a very short period as a lecturer in Futo, he rose to the position of senior lecturer, having obtained his MSc and PhD in hydrogeology and petroleum/cementology geology, respectively, in 2004 and 2010 from Federal University of Technology, Owerri. He's also become an accomplished academician with over 95 publications in various core geoscience disciplines. And as you can also read, he's held a lot of positions, including head of department of geology from 2017 to 2019. He's also been a commissioner in the Imo State Independent Electoral Commission in 2019. Professor Onyekuru is an active member of several professional bodies, including our own dear NAPE, but also others, APG, NMGS, and COMEG. And outside the school and professional association in the church, he's also a member of the Order of Knights of St. Christopher, the Owerri Council. And very importantly, he is married to Lady Joy Chisom Onyekuru, and the God has blessed them with 6 children. So, ladies and gentlemen, please let us welcome Professor Samuel Onyekuru as the chairman for today. And he will do us the honors of also introducing and reading the citation for our guest speaker. Over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, the President of NAPE. Let me observe all protocols that have already been established and go straight to the citation of our guest speaker, Dr. Ebere Bernard. Dr. Ebere Bernard holds a BSc Geology and a MSc Geophysics from University of Port Harcourt, while his PhD Geophysics was from University of Lagos and an MMB from Chicago, USA. His professional career started with the Nigerian Army as a special force military geologist, where he participated in geotechnical, geoengineering support, terrain intelligence, building of sand models, map reading to locate enemy targets. Dr. Bernard also worked for River State Water Corporation as a hydrogeologist geophysicist, laser engineering as reservoir geologist seismic interpreter, and South Atlantic Petroleum, where he rose to the position of senior geoscientist. Dr. Ebere is a seasoned professional with over 20 years of experience across the oil and gas industry, groundwater and hydrogeology, military service, and sports leadership. He later joined Seplat in 2015 as a senior production geologist and rose to the rank of chief seismologist, geophysicist. Dr. Bernard has experience working in the Niger Delta Basin, Chad Basin, Anambra Basin, Dahomey Basin, Central African Republic, Mozambique, Channel, offshore Madagascar, offshore Benin, Niger Delta, Tanzania, Gabon, Ghana, Angola, Namibia, and Guyana. His areas of specialization cut across reservoir geophysics, rock physics, AVO analysis rock inversion, geostatistics, integrated geological modeling, well-known analysis and well planning, prediction, and geomechanics. He has over 15 publications and conference papers to his name, with his paper titled Multi-Point Geostatistical Modeling of Turbidite Offshore Niger Delta, winning the best technical paper in 2015. A crew that carried out the first geostreamer marine seismic acquisition in the Indian Ocean in 2012. His hobbies include martial arts, hiking, kayaking, and listening to classical music. Dr. Bernard is also a veteran of the Nigerian Army and a renowned martial arts black belt. He completed and recorded Nigeria's only win in the 2024 permit me to introduce and bring to the fore Dr. Bernard Ebere to make his presentation. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Chairman, please. Hello.
Hello, Prof. We can hear you, sir.
Okay, so I'm done.
Please.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yes. Dr. Bernard, please continue.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Chairman, sir, our amiable NAPI President-elect, permit me to stand on the existing protocols. Like earlier said by the coordinator Awka Owerri chapter, for me, anytime I'm called upon to deliberate and discuss and learn among geoscientists, I always see it as a homecoming. I recall years back when I have to come to Awka Owerri area, courtesy of Professor Anakuba, in some practical independent field work, to marry what we see from seismic signal. It is a pleasure to be here again this morning to be part of this discussion. I'm going to be talking on the theoretical foundation of deep learning logic, which is an aspect of artificial intelligence as it relates to the basic seismic signal for stratigraphic analysis and reservoir characterization. Please, let's go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah, briefly, I'm going to just introduce the concept. It's going to be a very, very short presentation, so to say, but the whole essence of this presentation is to kind of invoke or stimulate interest, curiosity around what is trending, which is machine learning, AI, and how this concept can be applied to subsurface investigation. As we are aware, virtually everything that is being done in the world today is hinged on the back of artificial intelligence, including even taking notes and writing projects, engineering applications, and also in subsurface evaluation. But the big question is, the concept, is it applied in the same way? And that is what is going to be the focus of our discussion this morning. How we can apply this concept into stratigraphic analysis, and understanding our geology very, very well. Next slide, please. Good. Critical to exploration and production successes is our ability to model the subsurface, to model the geology, and equally to interpret the geology. A plethora of data sets is actually involved when we want to understand what is happening in the subsurface, when we want to understand the rock. And it is important to state at this point that each component of subsurface modeling and interpretation workflow can be incorporated with the element of machine learning, considering the age that we are today. Of course, large amount of data are always being involved when we want to be successful in a machine learning algorithm and interpretation. But I need to make it clear here that in the application of machine learning to subsurface geologic interpretation or evaluation, that it calls for data processing. I can't see the slide anymore.
Hello, Tunde, please. Okay. Tunde.
Just adjust it slightly, please.
We have. Is it too big or too small?
Some of the text are not showing.
Okay, sir.
Good, excellent. So I want to say that large amount of data is always involved for you to be able to apply machine learning. And so when we talk about machine learning, AI, deep learning, we'll look at the realm of big data analytics. So data has to be processed, properly analyzed, and mapped. And the whole essence is to be able to classify fishes. When we are able to classify fishes, we can get better understanding, and then we'll come up with faster interpretation. I always tell people in different fora that even though artificial intelligence is trending today, that in geoscience, the application of machine learning have been there for centuries. But today, we are trying to apply it in other disciplines outside geoscience, and so it is trending. Thank God for the advancement in computer and fast computing power. We're able to analyze large data sets, even in the cloud. And that is where this comes into play. Two aspects of artificial intelligence, machine learning and deep learning, no, still remain on that slide. Machine learning and deep learning are very, very important, and they have practical application in the area of seismic acquisition, seismic processing, subsurface data interpretation, field production, and engineering. Today, in offshore acquisition, seismic acquisition, where nodes have to be planted at the seabed, up to 2,000 meters, we have ROV, remote operated vehicles, that use the concept of artificial intelligence to lay these nodes. Besides that, we have advanced algorithm today that is being used in processing, and they are all based on machine learning. And so this has been taken forth even to the realm of interpretation. Next slide, please. Just like I mentioned before, at the top of the hierarchy is artificial intelligence. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, while deep learning is a subset of machine learning, and is the foundation, theoretical foundation around deep learning that we want to look into this morning. When we say artificial intelligence, we simply mean applying techniques that train the computer to think like the human. Machine learning is just the use of advanced algorithms to detect patterns. And in most of geologic and geophysical analysis, What we are looking for is pattern. Yes, we can do it as humans, but it could take time. By integrating the concept of machine learning and deep learning, we can achieve the result faster. Deep learning is just more like using convoluted neural network, which likened to the way the human brain works, neurons. These neurons are going to look at a lot of attributes and begin to make judgment like humans. Next slide, please. Good. It is important that we understand the underlying foundation behind the application of deep learning logic in subsurface investigation and interpretation. The richest man in the world, Elon Musk, and even the CEO of NVIDIA, they did say that students need to focus more on physics and mathematics over coding. In this age of AI, we have everybody's coding. Even small children in kindergarten, they are coding. It's like if you don't know how to code, you are no longer in the league. But these are billionaires, these are individuals that have applied the concept very, very well. And they argue that, yes, much as coding is very, very important in this age of AI, then they can actually employ the service of the machine to even do the coding for them. So of most importance should be focus on physics and mathematics, because understanding the principles and the principle behind physics is going to help us understand, appreciate what is happening in the real world, how we can apply this concept. Mathematics is just to bring all the relationships together. And in our case, our world is the world of geology. And in the world of geology, if we understand the underlying foundation of geology, of geologic variation, homogeneity, heterogeneity, if we can link it to physical attributes with proper mathematical relationship, we can confidently apply this concept. And that is what is going to be our focus today. Next slide, please. Okay. So this is just a snapshot to, stimulate our appetite and what it's all about. When we apply convoluted neural network, what it simply means that you have your input and you expect to get an output. In between the input and an output, it's a complex arrangement of layers, hidden layers. Those complex arrangement of hidden layers are actually embedded in the physics of the rock and the mathematical relationship in between them. When you use different attributes this way, we will be able to come up with a robust subsurface interpretation. Yes, this concept has evolved over the years from linear regression to multilinear regression to artificial neural network. What have you? All these are different advanced mathematical algorithms. Next slide, please. So it is important when we employ the concept of deep learning into subsurface interpretation. First of all, to gather our data. First of all, to make sure the quality of our data is good. Data processing, data arrangement, and then we begin to design the patterns. I want to start with a simple example here. To my left, top left of the screen, you can see gamma ray log motif in API with readings from 0 to 150, which we know. We know that when your reading is relatively low, you are within sand. That is our interpretation. And when the reading is relatively higher, you're going into shale. This is by the virtue of the fact that we see that shales are radioactive, while sand are less radioactive, except when the sand has when the sand has an inclusion of radioactive minerals like uranium and potassium In that case, even though you're within sand body, you discover that you could still read very, very high. And that is where the deep logic comes in. That is why you need to use a complex system to analyze your data. Your mathematical algorithm, when you input it, will not be able to tell whether a sand is radioactive or not. All it's going to deploy is that, oh, if I have shale, it's radioactive, I expect to have high gamma ray reading. If I have sand, oh, it's not radioactive, I expect to have low gamma ray reading. But you will not be able to capture the cases when you have radioactive sand. And that is where deep convolutional learning comes in now. Even though many times we look at graphs, graphical representation of subsurface data, at the back end is actually digital values. So we look at our log and we can say, oh, low GR, low high GR. It is actually arrangement of numbers. And so to the central part of this screen, you have a last file, typical example. From the first track where you have depth, to second where you have caliper, sonic, gamma ray, and other properties. But we want to focus on gamma ray alone. And how does it work? How do we apply the concept of deep learning logic? If I look at the gamma ray track, I have readings from 75 API down to 90 API. And as it's going downward, it begins to reduce to 40, and thereby begin to, the realm of 30. We can actually come up with an algorithm that will sort this data together. And once this is being sorted, we can see a pattern. And that is how, and that is the basic logic behind application of deep learning. That's the way it works. That's the way algorithm works. Either supervised or not supervised, it can actually give us a pattern. And that pattern, we can now superimpose our understanding of geology on that pattern and say that this is this and that is that. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. The slide is not moving, sir. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, as we all know, what we are evaluating is the geology of the rock. No, go back to the upper slide, the previous slide.
Okay.
The previous one, the one with the core.
I'm sure it will move. It's the internet.
Okay. So, on that slide, we have a gamma ray track. We have some core data taken along that interval, and we'll have the interpretation. Like I was trying to explain earlier on, from our basic knowledge of geology. Yeah, it's excellent. From our basic knowledge of geology, high gamma ray reading, we say is shale, low gamma ray reading, we say is sand. How do we come to that conclusion? Because we've actually taken rock samples by way of coring, and by way of coring, we can validate the geophysical gamma ray reading. And once that is done, in between is the classification, we can come up with an interpretation. Once this has been established and calibrated with a large set of data, that is where deep learning comes in. Deep learning requires a large set of data, maybe over a depot belt, maybe over a basin. Once that has been inputted into the database, either in the cloud, and trained properly, where we don't have core data, we can actually look at a geophysical response of a gamma ray reading alone and come up with interpretation. So on the right part of my screen here is actually a lithofacial interpretation of sand shear. And you can see that it's looking like what a geologist would have sat down in the office and said, okay, this is sand, this is shear. But in a nutshell, the typical workflow for machine learning and deep learning implies that one, there must be data preconditioning. Seismic log quality has to be well calibrated, because both in log analysis, in log acquisition and seismic acquisition, we always have external noise that will mar the quality of the data. Garbage in, garbage out. It's important that we carry out thorough data conditioning and QAQC. Otherwise, machine learning algorithm may not be able to discriminate what is noise, what is an extraneous data point with what is real signal that's coming from the subsurface. Then we have to go with a property estimation, and then some kind of integration and modeling. For us to have confidence on interpretation and imaging, there must be validation. Next slide, please. Good. This is another typical example. Here, we want to move from the right to the left. On the right side here, I have a angle stacks. And from the angle stack, I can begin to look at the signal response, amplitude with respect to distance, offset distance, or amplitude change with respect to angle. And normally, this is a concept we use for direct hydrocarbon indicator, to diagnose the presence of hydrocarbon-bearing sands, light oil, gas, depending on whether the amplitude is increasing with offset or is decreasing with offset, or is very subtle with offset. With proper application of deep learning, we can actually transform angle stacks to geologic interpretation, which is the output that you have in the extreme left side. Here, we have some hidden multiple layers, which serve like the neuron. And that's what we use for the training. You can see in between, you have porosity, you have V-clay, you have water saturation. This is just a typical example. If you carry out multi-analysis of these three attributes and relate them to the AVU response, we will be in a position to come up with a seismic lithofacial volume, like what we see as the output. And that way you can see, brine sand, hydrocarbon sand, shale. So from a seismic data without doing much interpretation, for a seismic volume that covers over 500 or 600 square kilometers, we can convert that whole volume to lithofacies. And it becomes faster even in giving recommendation for drilling. It's a second layer of validation to de-risk prospect and even development opportunities. Next slide. Good. This is another example. Here we're looking at stratigraphic concept. Can I directly look at seismic data and begin to see the hidden geology? Because for every signal, that's hidden geologic information. The basic signal is just about amplitude, frequency, phase. And this will determine even the thickness of a geologic unit of formation that will be reservable on seismic. Next slide. So looking at this key signal attribute of amplitude, wavelength, frequency, we can discriminate different phase sheet types and enable the proportional setting. Let us take a look at this simple analog. To the left is an outcrop. This is somewhere in Texas. We can see layered shale facies, and we can see what looks like a mound. That's the carbonate mound. So between a carbonate formation and your shale, you don't expect the physics to be the same. And what that means is that if I pass in seismic signal through this body of rock, The reflectivity I'm going to see around this parallel laminated unit will be different from what I'm going to see in the mounted unit. This is important for us to be able to appreciate the application of deep learning. Otherwise, it's going to be garbage in, garbage out. And we'll see this all the time. We'll see this all the time. So the right side, I have an edge detection attribute variance that try to discriminate your signal response based on the strength of the reflectivity. If I have a fracture, if I have discontinuities, as we can see here, what is within the anomaly is what is outside, and by virtue of processing that signal, you can see some channel pattern, some patterns that geologists can put a name to. So raw physics characterization dictates the seismic signal response. So we can walk from seismic to geology and from geology to seismic. It's important to understand the underlying geologic principles. Once you understand that, you can relate it to the physics of the rock. And once you can do that, every day we hear a word to seismic time, word to seismic time. Most people don't even understand what it's actually all about. It's actually integrating, tying the geology to the physics signal responses. Next slide. Next slide, please.
Tunde, next slide, please. Tunde.
Wow.
Maybe it's experiencing some delay.
Yes, I'm actually pushing it, but it's not moving right now. Okay.
Okay, good. What I have here is a seismic display. This is acquired from offshore Niger Delta. You can see from the top of the data to where you have the first high amplitude response. It's more or less transparent, relatively no signal. And then from where you have the amplitude response, you begin to see signals. But then the assemble of a frequency, amplitude, it's not the same. Configuration is not the same. We can actually decipher what the geology is. And that is what artificial intelligence is all about. That is what machine learning is all about. You have the water body, you have the seabed, and you have some channels, shallow channels. This understanding is key before we can easily apply this principle in subsurface evaluation. It can work extremely well. I mean, machine learning can work extremely well with in engineering application, but when it comes to geology, it can be a bit complicated. Next slide. So machine learning without basic understanding of geology and how it relates to physics is useless. Next slide. So the kind of response you have is a function of the Fashi architecture. Depositional environment, which is actually as a result of depositional processes. The sediment, is it deposited under a quiet condition, low energy, or is it deposited under a high energy, turbulent energy? All this one is going to reflect on the seismic. Next slide, please.
Do I help you like before?
Tunde, please.
Okay. So you see that when you have a sediment deposited in quiet condition, deep marine setting, what we call the marine pelagic and hemipelagic deposits. When you have volcanic sheets, when you have turbidite, depending on whether they are proximal or distal, they are all functions of the depositional process. Slump deposits, what kind of signal do we expect? On the table here, where you have seismic flashy, you can see on the first row, high amplitude, high reflection continuity, relatively low frequency. On the row behind it, you have good reflection continuity, high amplitude, moderate to high amplitude, moderate to high frequency. All these are characteristics that can help you discriminate rock. And so until you have this understanding and integrate it in a complex network of hidden layering, we may not be able to be in a good position to say we can apply a deep machine learning for geological investigation. Next slide. So this is a typical example where we have overlaid a well information in terms of the rock. If you look at the log overlay on the seismic at about where you have the green machine, that's actually interpreted to be a mass transport deposit. And you can see that on the seismic, that the event within that seismic machine package are all chaotic. Chaotic, wavy, poor continuity, low amplitude, low frequency. So with this understanding of geology, in the machine learning framework, when you train your data, we can actually classify our data and say, oh, this is actually a mass complex deposit. This is a volcanic streak and what have you. Next slide. This is another typical example. This data is offshore Dahomey Basin. We looked at the different formations from the upper Afo, almost equivalent to our Bini formation, mainly sand with few shale intercalation, to the lower Afo, which is mainly shale. And then you have your Eocene or social formation. You could see that on seismic, different formations, even though they have similar lithology or predominantly shale, we can see that the reflectivity on seismic is different. And when you get to the Abeokuta formation, the seismic response is different, which is around where you have that yellow interpretation. Next slide, please. Without thorough understanding of geology, we are wasting our time in application of machine learning. Because I see in most conferences, students come up with different publications. Everybody wants to present something on machine learning because that is what is trending today. Everybody wants to present something on deep learning and artificial intelligence. But like Elon Musk said, beyond the coding, we must have thorough understanding of the physics, mathematics. We must be able to relate the physics to the real world scenario. In our case, the real world scenario is the subsurface geology. Here, we're just showing a typical example of how you can use some attributes, geophysical attributes, their relationship to investigate the ability to discriminate fishes. Here, we have a high porosity sand or high porosity fishes versus low porosity fishes. How we can use some elastic seismic properties to discriminate that, and we can see it clearly. Next slide, please. This is another typical example where we can use the elastic attribute again to discriminate between shale and sand by virtue of the fact that the physics of the sand is different from that of the shale. The rigidity, the compressibility of shale and sand is different. So once we're able to establish this, we can actually integrate the concept of a deep machine learning. And then from your seismic signal, we can move straight to geology. Next slide. This is another typical example. Here, we're trying to look at how we can apply this concept in reservoir characterization. And we call it, yeah. And so here we use, again, concept of view analysis. We analyze how amplitude varies with offset or angle. Convert that parabola to a straight line. Compute the gradient and intercept. And by virtue of analyzing that, we can see at the carbon-prone facies. Again, from seismic signal, we can go straight to geology. And in geology now, not only looking at even the lithology or fluid aspect, we can equally look at the shape. In this case now, you see that we are dealing with channel facies, channel sand, by virtue of the scours you see on this section. Next slide. This is another example again. With proper understanding of geology, we can move from signal to the rock, which is what deep learning is all about. If you look at this elastic seismic attribute strata slides, you can see channel patterns as well as what looks like sedimentary features. Your crevasse plate towards the tail end of that channel feature, lower left of the channel feature, you see what looks like a crevasse plate. So you see that from seismic, you're moving to geology. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. With proper understanding of geology, geological concept, with proper understanding of physics, linking them together, we can easily confidently deploy machine learning algorithms, and then train our seismic data to begin to carry out seismic interpretation for us automatically, which will save time. Please, next slide. The slide is not moving.
Tunde, please. Next slide, please.
I can't even see the slide anymore. We just have some few more slides to wrap up.
Okay.
I'll share it again. Wait up.
Is it up now? Okay,
Yes, it's back.
Good.
Yeah.
So this is another typical example where we have applied the concept of deep machine learning to transform geologic data to, seismic data to geology. But like I said earlier on, we must understand the underlying physics behind what we're doing. This data has to do with some part of the chart basin. As you can see, we've been able to transform the seismic data to lithofacies using machine learning. The yellow facies here represent sand bodies. And then the red facies are volcanics. In between, you have more of shale formation. Within the shale formation, there is a volcanic seal, which you can see. So you can see from maybe looking at the seismic alone, it would have been very, very difficult. So now, using machine learning algorithm, we have been able to train the seismic data to give us a geology. Next slide. Here's another typical example. In this case, we were able to train the seismic data, and then we're able to output a volume of shear. We're able to a volume of shear. So the higher the volume of shear, it means that you are in a shear-prone facies. And then when the volume of shear is low, that is your sand. So you can see from this view graph, the yellow image is representing your sand distribution. Next slide. So the same thing is applicable to porosity. This is a porosity volume, obtained from training our seismic data using a deep learning algorithm. And this is why it is important to make sure that the quality of our data is top-notch. Because if the quality of your data is not too good, you might introduce artifact into your interpretation. Next slide. This under a typical example here is a hydrocarbon saturation. You can actually train your data again, like from the other session we talked about the AVO concept. If you integrate all this multi-layer of attribute analysis, at the end, you can generate a volume of hydrocarbon saturation from your data. And you can see here how the saturation is aligned to even the interpretation, which represents the top of your sand. Next slide, please. We're almost wrapping up now. So we have moved from looking at the underlying importance of understanding physics and how it relates to the real world, and in our case, geology, because we're not in engineering. In engineering, you see how it relates. What are the physical principles? What are the mathematical equations? How well do we understand the mathematical equation? How does the physics relate to the rock? What is our foundational knowledge of geology? Are we dealing with basement rocks? Are we looking with operating in sedimentary environments? At the end, it is important to say that the application of machine learning remains a key component of software imaging and interpretation. With leveraging of fast computing power today, evaluations that would have taken us 6 months, up to 8 months, up to 18 months. In some cases, you can achieve that in just 1 week. That is the value of machine learning. But then we have to do that with caution. Robust workflow of machine learning, especially deep learning in our case now in geophysics, still require good understanding the basic principles of physics, mathematics equation, and relevant geological theories. We're not there yet, but we can get there. There has been great advancement, technical advancement as regards to this industry, oil and gas industry, and in geoscience. We have better imaging of seismic from streamer cable acquisition to depth to the streamer to geostreamer to ocean bottom cables to ocean bottom nodes. We have better ways to eliminate noise. Fast computing power, advanced mathematical algorithms, processing is top-notch. And so this have helped us even in interpretation. So we need to leverage more and look beyond just a field to actually get the value of machine learning in geosciences. I think at this point, I want to say a big thank you for the opportunity to be part of this discussion and deliberation today. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Dr. Chunoko, over to you.
Thank you for the wonderful.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Ebere. Please, Prof, you can continue, sir. Tunde, please go. Hello?
I want to especially thank our presenter, Dr. Ebere Bernard, for this insightful and very wonderful awareness campaign. Before we take question and answers, I would like to do a little recap of what we've learned today. Let me first of all say the topic again. The topic is theoretical foundation of deep learning logic and basic seismic signal for stratigraphic analysis and reservoir characterization. He made us to understand that the subsurface modeling in the oil industry and its interpretation are very critical to reservoir exploration and production successes. And he said that this assignment, including the distinction or determination of fascists and the understanding of faster and making resources available, are a key component in subsurface modeling and interpretation workflows. They can all be incorporated in the elements of machine learning. He stated that there are several applications of AI, which includes machine learning and deep learning, which can be used in seismic acquisition, seismic processing, subsurface data interpretation, feed production, and engineering. He was able to differentiate between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning processes, and stated that for you to appreciate these techniques, a learner must have strong foundation in the scientific principles of physics and mathematics. He showed the typical workflow for machine learning to include data preconditioning, seismic property estimation, data integration and 3D property modeling, and validation of estimated subsurface properties by CNN-based seismic image simulations. He demonstrated, for example, that little fascists from logs and claws can be digitalized for better appreciation and interpretation using machine learning and deep learning. He also showed several seismic stratigraphic concepts, their interpretations, and outcome equivalence to highlight that seismic reflection signal responses depend on fasci architecture and depositional processes. He integrated rock physics and seismic data to delineate subsurface geology using diagnostic rock physics responses and crossbars. Finally, he showed the capability of deep learning to predict one, seismic lithofascists, volume of shear, seismic porosity, seismic hydrocarbon saturation, and several other applications. In fact, he stated that application of machine learning will remain a key component of subsurface imaging, especially in this era of big data, and reiterated that all geoscientists should key into this project of learning how to apply machine learning in interpretation of geologic data. Thank you once more. On that note, I will open the floor for questions, clarifications, and other responses. Please, if you want to ask any question or make any contribution, kindly raise your hand. So I will give you the floor. That A well-delivered lecture will have less questions. The presenter was able to drive home the points. All the points are well noted. I have a question from Dr. Bernard.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please, I have a question from Temitope Akinwumi. He said that this is a good presentation. He wants to know the difference between machine learning and neural networks. That's number one. Number two, what are the challenges working with deep machine learning algorithms during reservoir characterization projects? I'd like you to take all the questions and maybe answer once. If you want me to repeat, I will do that. Okay, since we don't have any other questions, you can take on the two questions, please.
Okay. First of all, the difference between machine learning and deep learning, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, machine learning and deep learning are more or less the same thing. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning.
Sorry, machine learning and networks.
Okay, machine learning and neural network.
Yes.
Okay, so neural network is part of machine learning. Neural network is part of machine learning. And like I explained in the course of the presentation, deep learning, which is actually a subset of machine learning, actually deploys neural network algorithm. But in this case, you use convoluted neural network algorithm, which means you're going to use a network of layers to look at multi-attributes, not only one. So, and by so doing, you are training your system, which your machine, which using those mechanical algorithm to predict your subsurface or to carry out interpretation like ordinarily a human being would have done. One would say convoluted neural network in this case now. Let's say you are using your seismic data. Rather than just matching your signal to just one attribute, you can use like 100 attributes and match your seismic data. By the time you run the iteration using back propagation, those ones that have lower weighting will begin to fizzle out. And those ones that have higher weighting, what we call eigenvalue, will stand out. And that will give you a direct replica of what human being would have interpreted. Don't forget that for you to be able to deploy deep learning using the convoluted neural network, you need big data sets. These big data sets will be interacted with or analyzed in a matrix form. By the time you compute all the matrices, you're able to get the diagonal patterns, and that's what constitutes the eigen values, that help you identify patterns. That's much I can say about that. But that's a follow-up of that question. I mean, the challenges. The challenges of using deep learning for reservoir characterization or subsurface characterization come in different ways. One of them is availability of data and data quality. You need a large amount of data sets to work with. You need good quality data because it's garbage in, garbage out. Your interpretation is as good as the input data. So you must be able to, like, for example, if it is in the realm of processing, and that is where machine learning is beginning to give value. The type of seismic data we image and process today is different from what was done some 20, 30 years ago. Because today, with the fast computing power, we are in a better position to discriminate different type of noise surface velocity, surface related multiples, low velocity layer, your ground rules, and all that. With training of a machine learning, you can discriminate between the velocity of those events and the velocity of your primaries or your body waves, your primary wave and your secondary wave. So these different layers of multi-layers of analysis and training of your data can actually separate what is required and what is not required, and that gives you good imaging. So data quality, data availability, and data size matters a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have a comment from Dr. Okugo, CG. He says, thanks for your presentation, Doc. It is very obvious that our Nigerian university curriculum has little or no space for teaching higher mathematical modeling and its concepts to our geoscience students after first year, to an extent, second year in their undergraduate. I think it's time NAPI should talk to our geosciences dons to make a case concerning this to NUC. Our students' mathematical skills are very poor, and there is no ML feature without a strong mathematical concept. This is his suggestion. What do you think? How can we circumvent this? How can we go about it to making sure that ML is becomes part of our curriculum, in view of the fact that the mathematical base of our students is low or shallow?
I think, Prof, it's just a comment from Okugo.
Yes, it's a comment.
I think
Yeah.
it's just a comment. Prof, there's another question under
I've seen them.
Okay.
The first one says, where does horizon, auto tracking, and gridding come into play in this concept of machine learning? That's one. How would you get your machine learning? How would you get your machine learning decipher images from shear diapers, salt diapers, and dike? Do you see AI playing a role in real-time decision making during drilling? These are questions from Dr. Princeton, Dean, and Clara Chukum also. Doc.
Okay, yes, I'm here. Yeah, excellent. Yes.
How does horizon auto tracking and grading come into this concept of machine learning?
Yes, horizon auto tracking, fault picking, all that, they still fall under this aspect of machine learning. It's just that for purpose of this discussion, I focused on reservoir characterization, but it's still part of it. You apply the same algorithm for machine for auto tracking, and so you allow the algorithm to pick your faults automatically. So if fault interpretation in a big field that would have taken you like 3 months can be done in just under some few hours. So also it goes with horizon interpretation. But just like I said earlier on, the same challenge that affects its application in the work characterization is the same challenge. For you to be able to confidently deploy machine learning algorithm to help you tracking in picking your fault and your horizon, it means that the seismic signature must be very, very clear. The quality of the seismic is going to be very, very good. If the quality of the seismic is very bad, the auto tracking you're going to get is going to track both noise and primaries, and you're going to make no sense out of that data. These are concepts we'll be applying every day. At times when we say, let's do auto tracking. And when you auto track, you're going to spend another 3 months, 1 to 3 months, to go and edit that data again. Because the input data that you have machine to train, you use the algorithm to train, it's not of good quality. Your data quality has to be very, very good.
Okay.
Can I hear the
Go
second
ahead.
question again?
Yes,
Second
how would you get machine learning decipher images from shield diapers, salt diapers, and dikes?
Excellent. The example I gave in the course of this presentation, one of those examples, you saw how we use the machine learning to detect a seal, volcanic seal. The seal is horizontal, dike is vertical. So if you have dike too, you're going to be able, you can train your seismic to detect that. And everything is tied down on the rock physics. The physics of the dike is different from the physics of sand. It's going to depend from the physics of shale. He made reference to salt diaper, the same thing. The stratigraphy of salt diaper or stratigraphy of shale diaper is different from stratigraphy of layered sand sequences or layered carbonate. We see on this seismic facie slide that the key element of amplitude, frequency, phase, the changes and in different sedimentary environment. So you need to have that good understanding first. When you have that good understanding, you will be able to use your machine learning. In fact, in a subsalt environment like in Brazil, we are trying to image below the salt. It is based on the concept of a machine learning because the geology of salt diaper is very, very complex. And because the geology of salt diaper is very complex, we have to come up with a physics that will, first of all, demystify that complexity. In this case, what is the physics? There's a new concept, what we call the full waveform inversion. There's a acoustic full waveform inversion that look at the whole signal. It's not limited to only permanence alone. And it's giving us better imaging. In fact, in areas where we have salt diapers, you will have to use advanced algorithms of elastic full wave inversion and their derivatives. With that, it's able to demystify and give you a better image of what a diaper looks like. And so with all this concept, you can now come up with your machine learning algorithm that will help you predict or train your data to predict this object. So like I said earlier on, the major importance, of most important here is the quality of the data. So with better leverage on acquisition and processing, you can now confidently deploy this machine learning concept. If you apply this machine learning concept, for example, on a short offset seismic low fold that were acquired 100 years ago, 50 years ago, you're not going to get the best of results. It will be like a case where you want to do auto tracking, and at the end, the thing is tracking everywhere. It's not making any geologic sense. But if you leverage on the advance in technology, today we can use long offset acquisition up to 8 kilometers. We can achieve up to 100 and more fold of data. We can deploy full wave inversion, both acoustic and elastic full wave inversion, and even derivatives that help us characterize the variable velocity field, and so give us better picture of the subsurface. Once you get that, you can deploy your machine learning algorithm, and you will get a good result. I hope I'm able to answer that question.
I think so, yes. So there's another one from Clara Chukuma. Do you see AI playing a role in real-time decision-making during drilling?
Yes, of course. As a matter of fact, AI and machine learning even is playing more application. I mean, it's even more. It's more applicable in real-time drilling than even what we do in reservoir characterization. Yeah, because for example, I recall sometime when we were in a drilling campaign. What happened is that if you're drilling through a shale sequence, for example, and then you see the shale sequence are going through a sand sequence, the rate of penetration is not the same. So the way the rock responds to the beat is different. So you can actually come up with an algorithm, and tie it to the rate of penetration. And once you do that, instead of waiting for the mud loggers to catch the curtains and tell you that you are in sand or you're in shale, that algorithm is going to quickly tell you that, oh, you are in sand and you're in shale. As a matter of fact, this concept is being used in population prediction in real time, using what we call D-exponent. And this D-exponent is based on basically drilling parameters.
Okay. We have another question from Aurelio Otoja. Good presentation, Dr. Ebere. What is your advice in applying results of machine learning and deep learning in resources evaluation? Can these results be used for well planning and resource booking? I understand some companies only employ this as fast-track approach, mostly quantitatively.
Yes, it can be used for resource estimation, resource booking. It can be used for well planning. I can speak of well planning. A lot of service companies now are coming with machine learning algorithms that help you plan well. What do? You just input a basic parameter like the map, the saturation, and all that. By the time you put all these properties and you click on the algorithm, what the algorithm does is to plan wells, look for where you have residual hydrocarbon and plan and give you wells automatically. So that is an application of machine learning in well planning. In resource estimation, is the same thing. Once you input the right attributes, like in this case now, you want to calculate hydrocarbon in place volume, you need porosity information, either from well or from a model. You need saturation information, either from well, from a model. You need maybe like water contacts or hydrocarbon contacts. Once you input all these parameters, machine learning will be able to give you your volume automatically just by a click of the button.
Wonderful. Thank you. There's another one from Wenga Olu something. Thanks for the presentation, Doc. For data coalition and gathering as input into ML and DL, is there a way NMPC, the custodian of all of our data, can collaborate with some outstanding indigenous companies in AI to generate
Yes, there is.
to generate useful output results
Yes.
and template for industry use?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes, very, very possible and feasible. Because today we are in a time of big data, cloud computing, digitalization. So most companies no longer store their data anymore in a hard drive or those. Data is stored in the cloud. So all NFPC need to do is to create a cloud-based data storage. By the time you put all the data in that, store all the data in that cloud, with machine learning, you can apply machine learning will sort out all that data together, and that's the where we are going now in machine learning application, because especially the deep learning, for you to be able to all they need to do is to put that data in the cloud. Or they put that data in cloud and then hook it up with any of those advanced algorithms. It will sort the data depending on the query you're giving. It will sort the data, analyze the data, process the data, QC the data, identify patterns, and then give you a result with just a click of button.
Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions. I'm not seeing any hands raised. So, oh, sorry. Good day, sir, for the wonderful presentation. Currently in the oil and gas industry, especially in the subsurface space, we have a challenge of data being in silos across different applications. For AI, we need large volumes of data, which can be a constraint when data is resident across different applications. Are there recommendations on platforms that allow an interface across applications where data can be utilized and processed?
It's something that is already in advanced stage, and a lot of companies are already enjoying that now. Most companies now, like I said earlier on, no longer store their data on the computer, on a hard drive. No, everything is domiciled in the cloud. Everything is domiciled in the cloud. And so what companies do is that they acquire or design a data management platform. They have data management platform. They have different nomenclature depending on the service provider. So with that data management platform, they can easily have access to the data and then apply machine learning plugin. Although it's proprietary, so no company will come and tell you the exact data management platform they are using and how they are using it. So the issue of migration or interaction between applications, software applications, is no longer a challenge today. It's no longer a challenge. You can move from one software to the other because everything is tied within that your data management application setup.
That question was from Blessing Tukura. She's further asking. She's further asking if you think OSDU can solve the challenge.
If I think what?
OSDU can solve the challenge. If you don't know,
I don't understand what they mean by OSDU. Can she put it clear?
Yes, let me know what is OSDU, Blessing, please. Then I have another question from Tabela. How does machine learning correlate well loss chronostratigraphically, having in mind the flooding surfaces?
That is pretty simple, and it's already we have that application already. There are a lot of sequence stratigraphic platform where all you need to do is to either use supervised learning or unsupervised. And if you're using unsupervised, again, it leverages on these basic seismic signals of amplitude, frequency, and what have you, configuration, what have you. So if I have a low frequency Pesci, low frequency, high amplitude, what does it mean? Low frequency, low amplitude, poor continuity, what does it mean? And with this, you can define your different data packages, and you can identify your sequence boundary, chronostratigraphy, whatever. You can do it. Like we mentioned earlier on, all this is dependent on thorough understanding of geology. If you are not a sequence stratigrapher or seismic stratigrapher, you don't have good knowledge of that to relate the physics of the signal to the positional environment, or you don't have an expert working with you in that domain, you can't even come up with that advanced mathematical algorithm. So we have to collaborate, work, and then define what you want to achieve. All the experts must be present, and of course, this is ongoing. People are already collaborating in that space, and then we are using the concept of machine learning to interpret chronostratigraphy and what have you.
Okay, Blessing has answered that open surface, that OSDU is open surface data universe in relation to the recommendations on platform that can allow interface across applications where data can be utilized and processed. She wants to know if you think that open surface data universe can solve the challenge.
So what we need to understand here is that when it comes to machine learning and what have you, you already have big machine learning algorithm or platform or AI platform that are based on a open data source. As we're talking now, you just connect and go to cloud and all that, and you mine the data that you want. But again, when it comes to the oil and gas industry, which is a specialized industry, that's what we call data propriety. You will not expect that all the companies in the world, even in Nigeria, will just take their data and throw it in the internet so that anybody can go and access it. And that is why even in the free space, free domain of using open source data for machine learning, there are still like a caveat that is disclaimer. Disclaimer in the sense that whatever that becomes the outcome by virtue of that data you're using, you don't hold anybody accountable responsible. Yes, when it comes to detailed subsurface analysis and to look at those kind of open source, I don't think it's going to be possible. The only way to work is what one of the participants asked earlier on, with respect of the role of the government. Like in Nigeria, we have NPRC and NAPC, and I'm aware that we have what we call a National Data Repository, where all the data are stored. So if they can have a dedicated cloud software and all that data management software, yes, it can be done on that platform, but it's only the people that have the right, the company that have the right, and the regulators that can do that. It's not something you sit down in your house and you connect to the net and then you begin to work. No, but for learning purpose, as we know today, you can sit down in your comfort of your home, connect to some of those open free source AI database, and you can play with something. Maybe familiarize yourself with coding, but not any aspect of a specialized industry like the oil and gas or mining industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bernard Ebere. I want to, on behalf of the coordinator and well-meaning professors and colleagues that are on this call, thank you so very much for doing justice to the presentation as well as the questions. No doubt you have given in-depth analysis and answers to all the questions that have been asked on this platform. To continue to ask you questions, I think we'll get your contact so that we can interact with you after this call. On that note, I want to hand over to the coordinator.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much.
You have done justice to this moderation, sir. So
Thank you.
Thank you for the privilege that you've given unto us to just learn from you. Thank you so much. We are really grateful. Thank you, Dr. Ebere, Bernard, my Oga. Thank you so much. We are proud of you, sir. Thank you for the word, for the good presentation. You have really done justice to it. So without wasting our time, we have spent enough time. We are presenting this award to you. I will send the copy to you through your mail. We'll just send it across to you as an appreciation from Awka Owerri chapter. So this award is presented to you, Award of Excellence, for your outstanding contribution as guest speaker to NAPE Awka Owerri chapter in her 2025 August technical meeting. We are grateful, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. To the next slide. To the next slide, please. To the next slide, please. Okay, my chairman, sir, Prof, we are still presenting this award to you as well, an award of excellence for your outstanding contribution as chairman to today's occasion. So we are really grateful. We'll send it across to you, sir. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
You.
Tunde, next slide, please.
Okay, both of thanks.
By the so we will now welcome our PE, always cheerful, always present to assist us whenever we just call on her. PE, ma, please take over, ma. Thank you, ma.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Let me just appreciate you because I've always attended all your chapter technical and business meeting. The topics you bring all the time are, rich. So thank you very much, Dr. Ifeanyi Chuwoko
Thank you,
and your
you.
your team, that's your executives, for the excellent work you do. And to our speaker, I wasn't expecting anything less. And I must appreciate you for always making yourself available. I recall, was it in April? I invited you to be a panelist at the technical and business meeting in Lagos at Eco Hotel. And everybody was really impressed with the contribution you made. So I didn't expect anything less today, and then you did not disappoint me. So Dr. Bernard, thank you very much. And thank you for reminding us that no matter what it is, like we know that ML and DL are revolutionizing industries and transforming the way we live our lives and work. But thank you for reminding us that our foundation in physics and mathematics is very key to help us better understand how to deploy artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. So it's really a rich presentation. And I believe that one of these days, it won't just be a technical session. You will have like a workshop, that I'm sure we'll do something like that so that you can have sufficient time to give us, more information on this topic. So our Professor Okechukwu Onyekuru, thank you, sir. I really appreciate your time because taking out time from your busy schedule to sit with us and share the session of today. I understand what it is to take time out of busy schedule to do such things. And for you to have done it, it shows the love you have for NAPI. We appreciate how you handled the session. Thank you very much, sir. And to all who have stayed on this call to I'm sorry, I hope you all heard me.
No,
I'm sorry, I hope you all heard me.
Yeah, we lost you to we had you up to Professor Okechukwu own. So you can continue.
Okay. All right, thank you. So, and to all who have participated in today's technical session, I appreciate you all. We appreciate you. All those online, all those who joined physically, our ESCO members, our fellows of NAPE, everybody who took time to attend, we appreciate you. And we believe that you continue to participate in subsequent meetings, sessions, both with the Awka Owerri chapter and other chapters and even the national one. And I also look forward to having you participate in all our activities during our coming conference. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, ma.
Doctor.
Thank you so much.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you, PA.
Thank you.
We are grateful, ma. Thank you, ma. To the next slide. Tunde, please, next slide, sir. Okay, announcements by our peers, but I'll do that in place of our next slide. Next slide. Okay, NAPE, some of the key announcements that we have on ground is the upcoming NAPE conference that will happen from 9th to 13th November 2025. So I'm urging us that let every one of us take that privilege, that early bird, and register on time so that we will be part of the global conference that we'll be doing. But this is an international conference. So I'm urging us to just keep in. Next slide. To the next slide, please. Okay, and the same thing. So registration is still ongoing. Please let us try and register. Next time. Next slide. Okay, we have our mini conference that will be coming up next week. So please, I'm urging us to our students, although most universities are having the exams now. I know of UNIZIC, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, the exam is still on, and some universities within our catchment and other aspects. But please, if it is possible, let's encourage our students, and some students are listening, to attend to this meeting. But this conference is meant solely for the student presentation. It will be a hallmark presentation. So it will be nice. It will be in Kwara State. It will be hosted by Kwara State University, PASU. So I'm urging our students and our colleagues to see if you can be there come next week. Next slide. To the next slide, please.
Yes, it's there.
Okay.
Upcoming technical.
Yes, upcoming technical meeting of Owerri, yes, Owerri chapter on 26th, on Tuesday, 26th of August. That's next week. So, and it's going to be an interesting TBM meeting, and the topic is economic modeling of the impact of the new incentive regime for cost efficiency in upstream petroleum operations. And that will be anchored by engineer Dr. Ogenerome Ogolo. Please forgive me. So please, let's just make it a date. And the time is still, I think, 11 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So let's just register for the meeting and be there. Next slide, please. To the next slide.
Yes, upcoming events, election.
Yes, upcoming events. We have our election that will be coming up, and I think it's from 1st September. Everything is coming up. So we have those that are contesting for the VP positions. We have Dr. Wilson Osong FNAPE, Mr. Temitope Adelaja, right, for the VP also. And we have Mr. Emmanuel Egele for VP also. So, and we have a host of others that are coming out. Please, let's pay our dues. Without paying your dues, you have that franchise. You have that power to make your own input to select. And we also have Dr. Antonio Former, FNAPE, FNMGS, coming out for president-elect. You must cast your vote. So I'm urging each and every one of us to quickly go and pay our dues, our yearly dues, so that you can have access when the time comes. From 1st September, it will, I think the sites will be open for the voting. Next slide. Next slide, please. Tunde, next slide, please. Okay, it's coming up. On this ground, I want to use this opportunity to plead on one of our own, Professor Bat Ozumba, FNAPE. Actually, he's on call, and he's our AC member, And sir, please forgive us. The mail that we sent to you as one of the panelists, I don't think that it get to you, sir. We are truly sorry. It won't happen again, sir. Okay, next slide. To the next slide. Is that all? Okay. So
are you done with the election slides?
Yes, we are done with the election slide. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next slide. Yes. So our dues, I've said it. There's need for us to pay our dues. You can quickly pay it. It's 12,000 naira. So you can easily pay it through the UBA account that you have here for NAPE registration, for NAPE renewal of your membership. So kindly pay and forward the same to the NAPE Secretariat evidence to give you access to NAPE activities. Next slide. Okay. Dr. Chama Madawes, the deputy coordinator, will do the closing remark. Doc, are you on call?
Yes, good afternoon.
Okay, all right, done.
Okay. Starting on existing protocol. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. NAPE Secretariat, PE,
Good afternoon.
President of NAPE, our chairman, and our speaker. Thank you for your presentation. It was very insightful and wonderful. Some key takeaways of what you keep, like you keep mentioning. The basics are the most important. If you don't get the basics, you won't be able to get a good interpretation of what the subsurface is all about for the reservoir and production success. So also, you also said that ML, that's a machine learning, deep learning, and AI all work together when everything that we're supposed to put in for the interpretation is in the right, because you can't, if you garbage in, you garbage out. Okay, so on that note, we want to thank you for your presentation. All the participants, thank you, ranging from the student, professionals, and NAPE schools, and Awka Owerri chapter for all the efforts that they put in to bring in this wonderful presentation. Thank you for participating. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the sacrifices and all the timing that you've put in to bring this presentation to be a success one. So I say thank you on behalf of the ESCOs and everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Deputy Coordinator. Doc, thank you. So from the Awka chapter, we are saying thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. We are grateful. We are really honored. May God bless each and every one of us in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes.